Mystique is undeniably one of the most deceptive mutants in the X-Men franchise, or at least she can be quite deceptive if she wants to, as she can literally shapeshift into anyone. In fact, she can shapeshift into one of your best friends and you won't even know, as she can mimic both the voice and the appearance of the person she is shapeshifting into. Some of the most famous and talented actresses in the world, like Rebecca Romijn and Jennifer Lawrence, have brought her character to life in several live-action X-Men movies. In this video, we are going to talk about Mystique's life, powers, and anatomy in detail. So, without wasting any more time, let's jump right in.
So what does she actually look like underneath it all? Naturally, Mystique has blue skin, red hair and yellow eyes. That's her real look. We get to see that whenever she is not disguising herself or shapeshifting into someone else. These are essential elements of her appearance that are consistently found across the X-Men franchise. Although some entries in the franchise portray a smooth-skinned look, live-action films like X-Men and X-Men First Class portray a scale-skinned look. Jennifer Lawrence, who portrayed the role of Mystique in X-Men First Class, has herself stated that the behind-the-scenes process for her character's look was similar to the process Rebecca Romijn had to go through when she portrayed Mystique in the original X-Men films. There was no CGI used for their appearance as Mystique, it was all prosthetic makeup. Frances Hannon, head of the hair and makeup department for X-Men First Class, said that they had to figure out a process from scratch, as they didn't have the team available that did the makeup for Rebecca Romijn. They had to find the right shade of blue for Mystique's appearance. Frances said that Rebecca Romijn's Mystique was a dark shade of blue that might fade into the darkness. So for X-Men First Class, Mystique's blue skin was lighter than the one portrayed by Rebecca Romijn. Jennifer Lawrence had to go through 7 hours of makeup in order to convincingly look like Mystique every time she had to play her on the set of X-Men First Class. The point was to make her appearance look as authentic to Mystique's real and natural appearance as possible. It was an extremely painstaking process. Where did this shape-shifting come from in the first place? Mystique is a mutant who was naturally born with the powers that she possesses, so her ability to shapeshift is natural to her. It is something that she inherited at birth. Many superheroes get their powers later in life, but that's not the case with Mystique. Mystique is considered to be more than 100 years old, but her true age and origin remain unknown and mysterious. Her earliest appearance can be traced back to around the year 1900. It's believed that at that time, she lived while disguising herself as Sherlock Holmes and entered into a romantic relationship with Irene Adler, whom we also know as Destiny in the X-Men franchise. Throughout the entire X-Men franchise, Mystique appears in several disguises. Before meeting Sabretooth, she disguises herself as a deceased German secret agent named Lenny Zauber. Lenny and Sabretooth were given a mission to assassinate a scientist in East Berlin. Mystique takes the place of Lenny and completes the mission with Sabretooth. Eventually, after completing the mission, Mystique and Sabretooth fall in love with each other. However, Mystique soon fakes her death and leaves Sabretooth. Their short-lived romantic relationship leads to the birth of Graydon Creed. Mystique gives him up for adoption. Despite the fact that Graydon is the son of 2 mutants, he does not become one, and that disappoints Mystique, so she eventually abandons him. Not surprisingly, this incident does not sit well with Graydon, and he develops intense feelings of hatred and resentment towards all mutants. Later on, after marrying Baron Christian Wagner, Mystique shapeshifts into various people for her several extramarital affairs. Although Christian is a loving husband, he is infertile and not a very good lover. In order to seek sexual satisfaction and get pregnant, Mystique engages in several affairs, and for that purpose, she particularly seeks men who resemble Sabretooth in one way or another. She makes sure that Irene Adler gets hired as a maid in Christian's house. Meanwhile, she starts an affair with Azazel, who claims to be the ruler of an island nation off the coast of Bermuda called the Island of Demons. Just like Mystique, he's also a shapeshifter, and not just that, he also has the power to teleport. Later on, it's revealed that he has the power for immortality and is the father of an ancient race of mutants known as the Neophem, which has been active since 9000 BC. In his natural form, he is a young man with black hair, yellow eyes, red skin, and a pointed tail. He even claims that he is posed as a demon. Even though Mystique does not like him very much, she still chooses to stay with him because Irene has told her that his involvement in their lives would be important for their future. So because of Irene, Mystique stays in that relationship. Mystique even disguises herself as Azazel and impregnates Irene. In order to hide this fact, she uses her powers to make herself appear pregnant. At the same time, she convinces Azazel that she is the one carrying his child. Her husband, Christian, becomes suspicious, and his father suggests a blood test to verify whether the child is Christian's son. In response, Mystique kills her own husband with a dagger and buries him. Eventually, Irene and Mystique have a son, whom we know as Nightcrawler. There is a scene in X-Men First Class that beautifully portrays why Mystique is the way she is. In that scene, we see Mystique working out while in her human form. Eric shows up and bluntly states that she uses half of her concentration trying to appear normal and fit into society, and the other half of her attention trying to do something else. He further adds that she cannot expect society to accept her if she cannot even accept herself. Mystique, in order to fit into the world of human beings, adopted many disguises throughout her life, but that didn't ultimately lead her to feel content. How does the shapeshifting actually work biologically? Mystique is not only capable of accurately imitating the outward appearance of the person she is shapeshifting into, but she can psionically alter the formation of her biological cells as well. It gives her the ability to precisely replicate another person's retinal pattern in her own eyes and skin pore patterns on her own hands and skin. She can replicate the smell of the person she is shapeshifting into, and not just that. In fact, she has total control over the physiology of her own body, which gives her the ability to change the internal composition and pigmentation of her body cells. She's even capable of rewriting her genomic instructions. She's not just a shapeshifter, she's a gene shaper as well. Dr. Nemesis has stated that Mystique's body is the most sophisticated biological apparatus he's ever encountered, and the speed and accuracy of the calculations she performs in order to rewrite her genes exceed the capacity of all known computers in the galaxy. However, her powers have limitations that one should take into account. Where does his power actually hit its limits? Although she can imitate the appearances of the mutants she morphs into, cannot obtain their powers. Even after her powers were enhanced, she was not able to replicate the powers of the other superhumans she morphed into. Once, when she disguised herself as Nightcrawler, she was not able to replicate his ability to teleport. Another limitation is the fact that her body weight stays the same, regardless of the weight of the person she has morphed into. She never weighs as much as the person she has disguised herself as. So for example, if she takes the form of Sabretooth, her weight won't be the same as the real Sabretooth's. Also, the heavier the person she's disguising herself as, the greater the strain on her body, which forces her to turn back into her real self. Due to a shape-shifting physiology, her brain tissue is constantly shifting, which can present itself as schizophrenia, and due to that, her personality constantly changes as well, which makes her extremely unpredictable and volatile. How has her look changed across movies, comics, and cartoons? As mentioned before, the core and essential elements of Mystique's appearance stay the same, especially her blue skin, red hair, and yellow eyes. Across X-Men movies, comics, and animated shows, subtle changes are made to her appearance, while keeping these core elements in mind. In the X-Men animated series from the 1990s, for example, her skin looks smooth, but in X-Men, her skin is a very dark shade of blue, and there are scaled textures all over her body. Those scaled textures, although toned down, remain in X-Men First Class, in which she is portrayed by Jennifer Lawrence, but her skin is a lighter shade of blue than Rebecca Romijn's Mystique in X-Men. And in the 6th issue of the 2019 X-Men comic series, written by Jonathan Hickman, she's again portrayed with smooth blue skin without those scaled textures that we see in the live-action X-Men movies. Throughout the X-Men franchise, her main look itself has not changed much. However, one can easily notice smooth blue skin in some entries and scaled blue skin in other entries, or light blue skin in some entries and dark blue skin in other entries. What powers actually come from her body itself? So far, we have mainly focused on the shape-shifting abilities of Mystique, but that's not the only thing she can do. And now it's time to focus on her other powers as well. As a mutant, she is able to repair her wounds and even regrow her limbs if they get cut off, as she can regenerate herself pretty quickly. Whether her injuries are minor or life-threatening, it doesn't take a lot of time for her to heal from them. And even when she's drugged or knocked unconscious, she's able to retain the form she is shape-shifted into. Also, she can easily develop resistance and immunity to toxins and diseases. One of the reasons why she's more than 100 years old is that she doesn't have to suffer from the degenerative effects of aging. She has natural defenses that protect her from telepathic intrusion. Her memory is also extremely enhanced, as she knows the location of every security camera in every major airport in the United States and half of the airports in Canada. Her strength, speed, agility, reflexes, durability, and senses are extremely enhanced. In X-Men Days of Future Past, we see her effortlessly tackling multiple men at the same time, although she does that with the help of some other mutants. Why is the scale blue look so iconic in the first place? In the X-Men universe, mutants constantly face persecution and discrimination from humans because of their traits, which don't enable them to easily fit into human societies. Mystique has a visually striking appearance. Her blue skin, yellow eyes, and red hair make her instantly recognizable and help her stand out. For Marvel, the decision to make her look that way was a very bold choice back in 1978. When she first appeared, her visually striking archetypally mutant appearance isolates her from the world at large, but it also motivates her to desire company and community. Her appearance is compensated for by her ability to shapeshift. She wants human society to accept her, and she disguises herself in many human forms throughout her life in order to fit in because she can. In the live-action X-Men movies, she has that scaled look on her skin, which makes her stand out even more. Her look represents who she is as a character. She naturally stands out because of her appearance, and she knows it. With the help of her powers, she tries to make that natural tendency go away by shapeshifting into humans and trying to fit into their societies. Her real appearance is very intimidating. At the same time, her inner life is just as complex. She is dangerous and deceptive, but she can be vulnerable and insecure too. And we see all of that constantly playing out, especially in live-action movies like X-Men First Class. Has her power ever been pushed beyond its normal limits? Well, in the Earth 11052 continuity, Mystique's powers were greatly enhanced by Apocalypse when she became one of his 4 horsemen. At that time, she gained the ability to morph into multiple beings at the same time. For example, a swarm of scorpions, a group of bats, or snakes. And not just that, she was also able to morph into a liquid state and even regenerate limbs that she lost in combat. However, she lost all these powers after Apocalypse's plans did not come to fruition. Her pestilence enhancement gave her the ability to change her body on a molecular level. Through this ability, she could turn her hands into blades, and she could turn herself into a puddle of water. What about her family ties? Because canon keeps changing its mind. The creator of Mystique, Chris Claremont, has stated that he wanted Mystique and Destiny to be the biological parents of Nightcrawler. He wanted Mystique to disguise herself as a man during the act of conception, but initially, Marvel did not agree with this decision because, at that time, restrictions surrounding the portrayal of gay and bisexual characters prevented the idea from being published. This part of a story, which is extremely essential to who she is as a character, was finally made canon in 2023. Even in the movie, X-Men Apocalypse, it's not explicitly mentioned that Nightcrawler is her son, but we do see their dynamic playing out that way in the scenes that involve them. Mystique is one of the most layered, complicated and relatable characters in the X-Men franchise, full of contradictions. Of course, in many situations, she does not shy away from acting in extremely selfish ways, but on other occasions, we see her vulnerabilities and insecurities and understand why she acts that way. I hope we get to see more of her in future live-action and animated X-Men and other Marvel projects. Whenever she appears in an X-Men story, she adds an extra layer of complexity and unpredictability that we can't get enough of. Alright folks, this is where we would like to sign off. We hope you enjoyed our video. Please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take care and stay tuned. We will be back soon with our next video before you know it.